Hey, what's up? This is Ekis, and thank you for listening to the GameXPresents podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to follow GameXPresents on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. But for now, please enjoy the show. Hey, what's up? It's me again. It's Ekis here for GameXPresents. And to my left, I have...
This is Stuff.
And to my right...
This is Vitorino once again.
Is Vic Torino. And I hope...
Torino.
And we accomplished something very nice right now.
Yes, right now.
Yeah, like right before the podcast. So you'll know what we eventually will get into it. But to start off, what's up, man?
It's like the weirdest start we've had so far. Sounds like we're lost.
Oh yeah, we're lost, definitely.
Not much up. How you been?
We pretty good. We've had what, like 2 weeks that we have? No, a week that we.
No.
I don't know. One just came out, so well, who knows when this one comes out? So.
No, we have a plan set. So
we have a plan.
I think we're on schedule right now. So
that is true. We have been working on trying to get the podcast a little bit more professional. You know, we try to improve each time. So yeah, little by little, we're getting there.
It's a slow improvement. So I'm actually at the beginning it was kind of like, okay, we don't know what we're doing. We're just trying different things. But now I think we're starting to get the hang of it, and eventually it's going to be like, hopefully it'll be a lot more people following it and, participating and stuff like that.
All right. And, since we're talking about it, I may as well tell them what we just did.
All right. Well, you did most of the work, so I'll let you explain it.
No, basically before, like you mentioned, we started doing this. We have no idea what we're doing. We just started making audio recordings and putting them on YouTube. So... we set up an account with a service that should allow people to set up an RSS feed on their whatever podcast program they use. I personally use Pocket Cast, but using something like that, they should automatically just get their podcast audio whenever it comes out. The biggest issue for me was always that, I like listening to podcasts on my drive to work, which is an hour. But I certainly didn't want to do it over YouTube because it counts as a video, and that's a lot of data. And I'm on Verizon. I can't afford to use my data. So now it's gonna be nice to be able to just download the audio.
Yeah, so starting from episode 10, you'll be able to... We'll put up the links on the YouTube descriptions, so you can go directly and download it. You can, if you have Pocket Casts, our Stuff mentioned.
Or any other podcast program that accepts RSS feeds.
Yeah, so, go if you have one of those. Let us know if you know any other ones that you use. But yeah, we'll put up the links on the descriptions on the YouTube so you can download it, and the files are a lot smaller. So I think it's something, very good that we're doing.
All right.
I'm proud of it.
So,
and who's
cheers. Do we have something to drink?
Nah, we should have got some horchata.
That's how we celebrate.
Some horchata.
Hey, we should thank the Stuff Network.
Oh yeah, thanks to the Stuff Networks for giving us lots of support. Yeah. He started off as a guest, but now he's running this. Basically, he's running this whole show.
Victorino's running it. I'm just a guest.
Victorino is he's the boss of GameXPresents, but his guests are subordinates.
He's the. He's the Steve Jobs. I'm the Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, and I'm just like I'm that. And Knights of that was for Bill Gates. Never mind.
Are you Palmer? The guy who quit? No, but yeah. So all right. So I think we're really gonna get this podcast out there and try to get as many people to listen to us. People who like tech and video games. Correct.
So
and
that one was for Ryder.
It's like we have to do it,
So this is episode 11. So we're starting to get the things up.
Welcome to episode 11.
Yeah. So what should we start off with first?
I don't even know. How about any gaming?
Any gaming?
Well, we got GameCon.
GameCon. So what about GameCon? Anything exciting happen at GameCon that you read?
Just a review of a lot of games.
Well, like any Nintendo games?
Nah, you know what the deal with Nintendo. Not until 2014. But you know what we should do?
What?
We should call Nintendo customer support and say, "Where's the games at?"
Yeah, well, I'm thinking I'm gonna do that and just like record it. But isn't that illegal?
I don't know.
Like, cause I know, like if you call somewhere, they say this call might be monitored. I think you have to let them know that it's being monitored. Do you think?
Who knows?
You know, Nintendo and them suing.
What are you gonna do? Just like, hey, where are my games?
Basically, that's all I can do.
They're coming next year. Okay, goodbye.
And they might be like, hey, we're Pikmin's coming out in August or September or whatever the case may be. Is it coming September?
I think it's out already.
Am I supposed to be?
Yeah, I do believe it is out already.
Well, yeah, it is out. Yeah, because I've seen some gameplay.
I may pick that up. I don't know. I was looking at it and it looks kind of fun.
It's like a nice like puzzle-y game. I know I played it when it first came out. I believe on the GameCube.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It was that and
like I rented it, so I didn't finish the whole game. But back when Blockbuster was still
Blockbuster,
still had it popping, as the kids will say it now. But yeah, I haven't really heard any video game news really.
What about the whole? Oh god, the Xbox. Apparently now you don't need the Kinect. After all the things, you know, we all know how Microsoft started with the Xbox and with the Xbox One and saying, "Oh, it's gonna be this way, this way, this way," and people were like, "No." And when they were like, "All right,
it's not
gonna be this way and this way, but it will be this way. You will have to use the Kinect." And now they're like, all right, you don't have to use the Kinect if you don't want to, but you're still going to buy it.
Yeah, it's still going to come in a pack. You're still going to pay for it.
At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in a month or so, they're like, you know what? We're going to have the two different versions of the Xbox One with the Kinect and without the Kinect.
And that's just, I don't know, like, it's like they should have thought of this. Like,
it feels like they've just been going with the flow, seeing what happens. Like it really feels like they didn't even think about this.
It's like a bully, and like starting to bully you, and then in the middle is like, all right, here's your change back. All right, I won't give you a wedgie. You give me a wedgie.
Like it started bullying you, but then turns out you have friends, and they're like, oh man, we were just joking. Come on, here's your money back.
Yeah. So. Talking about what? You got something to say? No? Okay. So I really want to know what like people thought of that intro I did for the GameXPresents.
Oh, for the Gamers. I loved it.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too long. Maybe it's something that it's a work in process.
It was the first one.
Yeah, so sure any feedback is appreciated at this point.
Positive or negative.
Yeah.
Kind of feels a little bit more professional just to have a little something there.
Yeah, now that we got that
something to dance to in the beginning.
Yeah, you can dance, you can jam to it.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I made the beat, so
yeah. For those who don't know, Mr. Eki's here is Milwaukee rapper.
And I make beats, so if you want beats. I mean that's a beat that from a long time ago. So I just like saw it. I'm like, okay, I'll just use this. It was just sitting in my hard drive collecting dust. So I was like, okay, I'll just use this.
Hey, if it's there, may as well use it.
You can follow my.
You should reuse whatever you have, man.
Yeah, so I got plenty. I don't know. You want to talk about? I know, like earlier we discussed about. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Not with the Microsoft. I just
guy that retired. He's going to retire. And what's his name?
Apparently, Steve Ballmer decided he's gonna retire.
That guy's crazy.
when Steve Jobs stepped out, he became the CEO and
when who? Steve Jobs?
I mean, Bill Gates.
Oh, like Steve Jobs worked at Microsoft.
Okay. When Billy left, he became the CEO, and him and Bill have been friends for a very long time. But apparently, well, not apparently. Obviously, Microsoft has not been doing very good. The Windows division has been hurt quite a bit, even though I feel a lot of people complain about Windows 8 unfairly. I think Windows 8 is great, and personally, I don't have any issues with Windows 8.
Like, what do you hear? I always hear people complain, other than it doesn't have a start.
It doesn't have a start.
To me
that is the silliest thing, because
and they put it back, right? They're putting
it back, just like everything else, by popular demand. But honestly, I don't mind the fact that it's missing the start menu. I do believe that people are obviously used to looking up things in a specific way, but I have issues with that, because to me, if you look at Windows XP, even if you look at Windows 7, and you look at Windows 95, obviously there's tons of differences, but the overall ideas are very much the same.
Yeah.
You have that start menu, and from that start menu, you do certain things. You get to your control panel, you get to your applications, and I'm like, that's a very long time of the same idea. And I hate it when in technology we have that. On cell phones right now, you can see that there's a lot of competition, so there's lots of new things coming up all the time. The whole way that phone OSs work is different from how Windows or Mac OS work. Pictures, for example, it's so easy to share pictures on your phone, and it's not so easy to do it on a computer. And I'm like, why? Like, computers are supposed to be more powerful. Why is it so much easier for me to do all these other things on the phone?
Yeah.
That's because those are new ideas. For the longest time, Microsoft owned the market, and they didn't have to change, because one, most people don't really like change too much, I guess, and two, well, they own the market. Who were they competing against? Nobody. So that just kind of makes things boring, in my opinion. So personally, I welcome the fact that Windows 8 is different. Did I miss the start menu? Yeah, at first it gets a little bit confusing, but then I decided, you know what? The search on Windows 8 is great. Whatever program I need, I just type it and it comes up. So, I just got used to using Windows 8. And right now, the same reason for which I did not like the fact that Windows was so popular, the fact that it made everything kind of stay the same, that is the same reason why right now, believe it or not, I'm kind of hoping that the next iPhone is really, really good. Because right now, Android has a huge percent of the market.
Yeah.
And, in my opinion, Windows and plenty of other things have proven that if you have a huge percent of the market, that's just not good for innovation.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really need competition brews more innovation.
Correct. And, a lot of times people will say, well, have your stuff, whatever. He's an Android fanboy.
Yeah.
And I'm not an Android fanboy. I'm a tech fanboy. So,
Android fan, no.
I come off as an Android fanboy, but you know what? Honestly,
it's just that's just your preference.
That is my current preference, but right now, like I said, I'm afraid of just Android owning too much, and then the things just kind of staying the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see technology keep growing. I don't want to see it stay the same. So hopefully the next iPhone is amazing. Hopefully it has some really good new ideas, and hopefully Android or whatever other OS decides to go ahead and fight.
Yeah, and you got anything to say about that? No, no. It's like even like with the whole video game things, when you have like Xbox and PlayStation and to some extent Nintendo, when if one console or one company is better than the rest and there's no competition, then like you said, they're just gonna maintain everything the same, because where are they gonna compete? They don't have to worry about any competition, so they're like, okay, we don't have to really innovate. We'll do slight improvements. But if you're actual competition, like, okay, we got look at what happened with the PlayStation. They did the opposite of what Microsoft did, and then they got more people on their side.
Yeah, and just by one very simple thing, they're like, we're gonna let you trade games.
Yeah, and
that was enough to give them a huge lead, in my opinion.
But isn't it funny that Sony did that? But that's like maintaining it the same, like as you were able to do in the past. So sometimes it depends on what you're doing. Like sometimes maintaining something is
correct. Good. It goes back to the keeping things the same, and people don't like change.
But Microsoft should have done a better job explaining. That's the thing, in my opinion. Like maybe if they would explain it in a different way to try to get people to like understand their vision, instead of them saying this is what we're gonna do and that's it. Like it seemed like they're just like, okay, you don't know, like you're too stupid to understand what we're trying to do. You're just gonna have to accept it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people, like I said, that they don't like change, but at the same time, if you don't change, then things really get stale. So I guess you just got to know how to bring the change, and I guess that's where Microsoft has failed a few times now. With Windows 8, they just changed it. They didn't. It wasn't like a slow change. They just did it, and for people like me who tend to really like new ideas on certain things, that was great. But I can certainly understand how for older people or just other people who just like it the way it is, I can understand how they could be upset.
See, like for like a transition, I guess just not taking it off the start. Like if they would have kept the start button and also kept the tile format, do you think it would have been as much people complaining?
No, because
it's all because
biggest complaint that I hear is
the start button.
One little button. Honestly, as for stability, I think it's been a great OS. My computer, I can't remember.
Yeah, I've been crashing.
So
I've enjoyed it. I know how to push that little button, that little Windows button that they have that basically works as kind of a start button. Going to
and the start button, the Windows button.
No. Well, but it was kind of like it was a command button, I believe.
No, on that's another thing with Microsoft. Another thing where they have kind of really sucked at getting people the information. There's a lot of shortcuts that you can do with a Windows button on that keyboard. Most people know that there's a Windows button on the keyboard. They have no idea what to use it for. So I really do wish Microsoft would focus more on showing people how to do that. For example, sometimes I have a lot of things just open on my desktop. Most people don't know that if you do Windows M, it'll minimize everything. And that's my personal favorite way of just getting to the desktop. And I know it's probably easier to take the mouse over to the bottom right corner. But for me, it's faster to just do Windows M.
Yeah. And sometimes you just have to, especially like the people who have more time or more computer savvy, like they can just go to the things and try to work out what the shortcuts are. Because like if you had like older, people who are used to Windows XP or Windows 7, there's like a big change, and they're like, oh, how do I do this? They call you in the middle of the night.
Ayuda.
Ayúdame.
But yeah, change is good. although sometimes not too fast.
Yeah, but like
another good example that I like to use about how companies become very stale is with the cell phone companies. For the longest time, even though we have like 4 major U.S. carriers here in the U.S., obviously, it's almost a monopoly. Because it seems like all 4 of them at some point used to just agree on what they were going to do. So they're like, we're going to charge about this much. And, you see one of them making that change, and next thing you know, all the others are doing it. So that to me, it's a way of it's a type of monopoly, in my opinion. But now you have a company like T-Mobile who have been losing so many subscribers so quickly that they were like, okay, we need to do something different. And they have been doing something different, and now they've been getting a lot of customers. And I definitely believe that the other big companies are looking at them and thinking, like, because they've been losing customers now, so they have to be thinking like, I wonder if we're going to have to follow their steps now or something.
Yeah. And it all falls back on what the customers... I mean, should a company listen to the customers?
Oh, of course.
And like, but how far should they, I guess, sacrifice their vision for satisfying the customers?
That depends on whether they want to make money or not.
Like, for example, imagine like this, going back to Microsoft, this whole thing they had in their vision. Let's say it was a real good idea. Let's just say for some reason they were planning something incredible with their family share plan, with all of that, even though they can still do it with the way you mentioned it. And maybe that's a way. But
I think that if Microsoft truly believes in their idea, they should find a way to make it happen regardless. And what I mean is, I don't mean force people.
Well, give them that option.
Give them the option. You are able to give them the option.
And then maybe that way you do that option, and people are going to maybe notice that other people who have done that option enjoy it, and then they're just going to follow.
Yeah, people want options. People don't like it when you use take away or change just like that.
Mm-hmm.
They want options. They, like right now, Gmail, they came out with some new design where it orders your email based on content to these tabs. Some people love it, some people hate it. But whether you love it or not, you have the option of using it or not.
Yeah.
So that's smart. If they would just put it there and be like, this is the way it's going to be now, people would have been outraged.
Kind of like that.
And some people still complain, even though all they have to do is go into the settings and change
take it off.
But,
although I do like that change they did to the YouTube app, where you can kind of like...
I love the new YouTube app.
Yeah, you minimize it. You can still see it and you can still scroll.
And it's so much smoother, too.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, Google and Android has been doing some really good work lately, and I'm very happy for that, because some of the Google apps, they run smoothly, they look nice. I like it.
Yeah, and then they give you the, and it's not a huge change that people can't get used to. It's like just a little change of aesthetics, and
little by little.
It's pretty cool.
And on the Apple version of on the YouTube app, you can actually have multiple accounts now.
Previously, before you couldn't?
Yeah. It was only
but you could always do it on Android, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
But finally on Apple you can do it? Okay, that's cool. So you can have your secret undercover.
I don't care what they can or can't. No, I'm kidding.
So you're an Apple hater. You're a hater.
I
but you want them to do good. Wait, no, I'm just like.
Hey.
Speaking of iPhones.
Speaking of iPhones, what phone do you have now?
I don't know. I still got the Note.
So what's the word on the iPhone 5C? What is
that? I don't even think... from what I'm hearing, that's just not going to be like a... I think that's going to be like a kind of like a China
did the C
version.
Start for a cheap?
No, it stands for China and something.
Oh, China.
Carbon.
Or City.
They're all made in China anyway. Except for the Moto S. Most of the parts are made in China, but it is assembled in the United States of America.
I mean,
red, and blue.
I wonder if those C's is going to be for like prepaid for like poor people.
Personally,
Cricket. C stands for cricket.
Not a sponsor yet. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I said this last time too, so I don't know if they're gonna do it or not. But I think that they are going to be getting rid of the numbering sequence.
They're gonna use letters now.
No, I think that they're gonna start going back to, you know how with the iPad they started iPad 1, 2, and 3, then they went to just iPad.
Mm-hmm. The new iPad. The new iPad.
I think that actually, I don't think there was a 3, was there? I think the 3 was the new iPad. Then
the 3
became the new iPad, or I don't know. Anyway, thing is, I expect them to either now or soon just go with iPhone.
The iPhone. So from now on, it will be known as iPhone 2013, iPhone 2014.
I mean, would it still be like 4th generation? Like kind of like the iTouch. iTouch.
This one would be now what, 7th generation?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Should be. The 5C would be 7th generation.
How was the first iPhone?
It was just iPhone.
No,
it was iPhone.
Like
how did it look? It was that.
Remember the 3G? Well, it looked kind of like the 3G and the 3GS.
I should probably
kind of like the iTouch, but just like fatter.
I should probably YouTube it or Google it.
And you know, supposedly the iPhone 5C is the cheaper plastic version that they're supposedly making. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Apple's gonna make a plastic iPhone." I'm like, "Hello!" Like the 3G was plastic, yeah, and the 3GS was plastic, so it wouldn't be the first time. And those were perfectly fine phones, even though they were plastic.
But do you think
what I see happening is them trying to do something more like the iPod line, where you have the iPod Touch, and you have the iPod, what is it, Nano or Mini iPod Nano. I could see them going with like the iPhone and then the iPhone Nano or the iPhone Mini, like a smaller. Well, I don't want to say smaller. I don't think you can make a smaller iPhone, but something cheaper, but with colors, lots of colors, like the Nano line has always had tons of colors. So I could see them trying to do something like that.
But is it going to be like lower specs? Or is it going to be the same as the iPhone 5 current?
I would expect it to be lower specs.
Just
as compared to the iPhone 5?
Probably compared to the
4S?
To the iPod Touch. You know how the iPod Touch is just a step behind, always just a step behind the iPod.
So is it going to be, you think it's going to have Retina? Or whatever? Or is it going to be like a lower resolution screen?
Yeah, Retina, nowadays, most phones have Retina, technically, so...
I mean, like, is it going to be like 720 or like...
I would expect it to be 720.
Okay.
But, yeah, who knows? What the hell do I know, right?
Because, like, who is this marketed to? Like, I guess, like...
To all those people who bought an iPad mini.
Hey, no.
And see, that's another example. They had the iPad, they had the iPad mini, so they should have the iPhone and the iPhone mini.
But it's going to be the same size as the 4-inch screen.
Maybe it is. Maybe it goes back to 3.5.
That's interesting. I guess, because I would think that it wouldn't be for like the. I would think that that's like for like a different market, like not really for the U.S.
I don't know. Some people want iPhones and they think regular iPhones are too expensive. Who knows?
And then again, people put cases over it anyway, so you won't be able to tell it's plastic anyways.
And they got the.
And then they're gonna release the gold version of the iPhone.
The gold or the champagne version, champagne color. I still don't.
Or the piss color.
Piss color. I still don't know if
you can
what's
put
up with that. The rumor is that it might be a 120 gigabyte version.
120
gigabytes.
Oh, that's cool.
So if there is such a version, I could see people buying it.
Yeah, so that's like the special.
And then you get that special color, so that people know that you bought the really expensive one.
And you just put a cover on it.
And then you just put a cover on it, exactly.
So people won't be able to tell the difference that you got the most expensive. And that's kind of like hopefully it is, because we do want more in storage to our phones.
That is one thing that I keep talking about. I'm like, a 32 gigabyte micro SD card is like $25. How much is how expensive is the memory that they put on these phones? Like 16 gigs and 32 gigs. That has been the normal for way too many years. Like, applications keep getting bigger. And I know that we have more and more cloud storage, but applications don't live in the cloud. So,
and sometimes people use their phones for video recording, like
videos, pictures,
and that doesn't that takes space. That takes space.
Games,
yeah.
Phones are gaming machines.
I'm tired of having to delete stuff,
and they don't want to give us SD card slots anymore. Yeah. So what's with the internal memory? Like, come on, guys.
Either give us a way to include storage, but they should just have it included in already, like in the phone. Mm-hmm. That should be something they improve.
They don't want me to buy my own. Then give me more. But 16 gigs is just not enough.
It's not,
especially when on the Galaxy S4 you take 11 of those gigs for your own damn programs that I might not even want.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, I know earlier we talked about, our experiences. Like, we were thinking back. We had a nostalgia trip back in memory lane.
Year 2000.
around that time, with the whole AOL and everything.
Oh, that wasn't the year 2000, man.
Well, before.
No,
but,
we were talking, and we figured we would talk about it a little bit on the podcast. We were trying to remember the good old days of tech for us. I don't know what year did you officially go online?
Officially go online.
I would say.
I mean, like. In middle school, so this was probably in 1990. Like we would use the internet for like
porn.
Not in school. No, it was just mostly to. I don't even use like some kind of like.
Well, the 3 websites, no.
But I know for sure, like in freshman in high school, when we got a computer, It was, I believe...
A compact?
It was a compact. It costed like... $2,000? Nah, it was way more. It was almost $3,000.
You sure that wasn't a free one?
Yes, it was a free one. So, okay, let me just say this story. Back in, I would say around the year 2000, we bought a compact computer. It was valued at $3,000. I kind of like looked up the information on the Google ones, and it was like $3,000, and the specs were like terrible. Like it didn't have more than 10 gigabytes of like less than like I don't even remember how much it was, but it cost $3,000. So we went to Best Buy. My mom went to get some credit, so she can buy the computer on credit from Best Buy. So my mom, she doesn't really speak English. So I think we just confused the hell out of the person who was taking care of us with the credit. And I think the guy, or I don't remember if it was a guy or a woman, but I guess they told us to go to the cash register to like kind of like pay for the computer. But our ignorant selves, we just like walked out with the computer, and the guy like at the door, he asked us something, and my mom like said, "Oh yeah, we paid for it already. We got it on credit." So the guy let us go through, and we never officially like got the computer on credit. We just walked out with a $3,000 computer, and the funny part is that we kept calling, like we called Best Buy like at least 2 or 3 times because my mom was worried that she hadn't not received a bill. And the people from Best Buy were like, "Oh, nothing shows up in our record, so you didn't buy the computer here or whatever." And we're like, "So okay," we kept the computer.
I'm not gonna argue with you guys.
So yeah, that's what the one we installed. The whole goodies of AOL and the whole sound, and
you've got mail.
Dialing 10 different numbers to try to find the one that was actually working. And all I did was go to the chat rooms and do ASL. He's trying to.
I just remembered that. What that was. Okay.
He just trying to pick up chicks.
Anyway.
Hopefully they were and doing cybering.
And I think you still have that flyer of the computer.
The flyer?
Yeah, remember like the thing they give you, like the packet.
Oh yeah, I think we still have the manual for that computer somewhere. I seen it recently, like when I was looking in like a bunch of old boxes. But yes, but before that, I remember. How big were the big floppies?
There were the 5.25.
But that was like, I think that was like when I was like.
And then there was the 3.5. The 3.5s were the hard ones.
Yeah, no, so it was the other ones.
The big ones were the 5.2.
Yeah, so those were like back in middle school. It wasn't my computer. It was my friend's.
The true floppies, because those were floppies.
The ones that actually flopped around, big and floppy, and so that was my first experience with a computer.
I think you could put. I could be wrong, but it might have been like 700 kilobytes. I could be way off.
Yeah, because the smaller ones were 1.4.
1.4 megabytes.
Yeah, 1.4 megabytes. That's funny. And man, like you can't even put a song on it.
No, very short one.
But yeah, like it was just so confusing because like back then you had to like put like C / command and like I couldn't like we couldn't figure it out. We just kept typing whatever until we eventually found out because I guess you put dir or you put man, that was crazy. Patience.
I like to say that my first computer was a Commodore 64, although I don't really consider it a computer because it doesn't have a monitor. The monitor was a TV. But technically, it was my first computer, and I actually still have that computer in a bin upstairs.
Oh yeah.
But my first regular PC type of computer, that one I don't have anymore. I named that one Anna, and I had that one for a while. I remember when I got it, it must have been like 94, 95, around there. And I know that my dad paid $600 for it because I really wanted it. And now I feel bad about it because I'm like, Jesus, like $600, that's a lot even now.
Imagine back then.
Back then, my dad was, making minimum wage, and I kept crying because I wanted this computer. And
yeah, but how much was minimum wage back then? Like what,
exactly.
like $3?
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was I believe it was like $5.25 at the time. But still, that's a lot of money for. So I feel bad for it now. But anyway, I remember that I got the computer, and on my Commodore 64, I was used to typing commands to get things to load, but it was nothing. This worked nothing like it. I turned it on, and there was just this black screen with a C prompt. I had never used a computer like this. If the ones that I had used at work had Windows 3.1 in it, so I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Run, nothing. Okay. So then I started looking at the books that came with some of the applications, and when they were like, okay, to load the application, you gotta do CD this, and then I started doing that, and little by little, I got it. I started understanding it. Then I remember this friend of mine, he installed Windows 3.1 on my computer. It's funny because I remember that to install it, he had like 15 floppies, and each one was very important. So it took a long time, but finally I had Windows 3.1, and I think now about some of the stuff that I used to do on that computer, and I'm like, I have no idea how I used to do it. Like, I know that I had a 14.4K modem, and I used to connect to all these bulletin board systems, which I right now I still don't even know what the hell they were, or how the heck I even found out about them, or the numbers that I had to dial. I just know that I knew about a bunch of them, and I would connect to them, and some of them would give me very limited test-only internet. Well, for me, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Just to be able to read these websites. Couldn't see anything, but I could read the text. And it was just great. And then, you mentioned chat rooms. I was into the whole IRC world, and which is Internet Relay Chat, which is still alive. And in my opinion, it is the thing that really began hashtags. Because in IRC, when you would join a chat room, you had the chat room. The hashtag basically stood for channel, and it would be hashtag and whatever. You would know that you were in that channel.
I wonder if the AOL chat room still exists. AOL still exists.
They probably do.
And people still go ASL.
Yep, they probably do.
And who own AOL? Time Warner still?
Do they?
I don't know.
Probably not. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out.
I quit going into the AOL chat rooms when one day I went into one, and I kid you not, I just said hi, or I said who knows what. But as soon as I did that, I started getting a ton of spam emails. And after that day, I was like, I am not going back into one of these chat rooms ever again.
I guess do it on a Chromebook.
Yeah. But anyway, it was fun memories.
Yeah, like I guess also imagine like the whole making your own like homepage, GeoCities. There was other ones like
there was Alta Vista, but GeoCities.
Was there something like Mikasa or something like that, or
yes, sir.
There was like some homepage and
I don't remember
everything. Like you had those little stupid images, like were there GIFs?
Yeah, animated GIFs. That's what my website was all about. I don't remember. I know I had a GeoCities website. I honestly don't remember what I had in there.
Yeah,
I do kind of remember talking about AdSpand and how my name was Stuff, and I think it was just a story of why my name was Stuff, which has to do with like back in 1992 when I got my first true internet experience playing video games online over the AdSpand modem for the SNES. The service back then, I didn't have a computer, and the idea of having a computer was only a fantasy for me. So I got this AdSpan service, and AdSpan allowed us to write five-line emails. They called it AdSmail. But to me, the fact that I had email, that was amazing. That was incredible. So I remember going on the EGM magazine, and sometimes back then, email was like it was basically like Twitter now. You know how now they show you somebody's name, and underneath they'll put at whatever their Twitter name is. Well, back then people used to put the person's name, and then underneath they would put their email address. So, I would just email all these people and hope they would get back to me. I thought it was so cool that I was able to just send them messages,
Yeah. I mean, like, and I think we lived in an interesting, like, we were born in, like, in a kind of, like, interesting time, because you saw develop technology. Like, imagine, like, you had to learn patience. Like, just, like, trying to get into internet, how much patience you had to take. Like, now all the kids get internet instantly.
Yeah, everything's instant now. I mean, back then, I was a teenager, and Cindy Crawford was the
popping.
thing. Yeah, she was popping. So in these BBS systems that I would go into, you had the ability to download certain pictures that they had there. And I don't know why I keep remembering this one Cindy Crawford picture that I downloaded, and I thought it was great. Just a picture of Cindy Crawford. But it took me like half an hour to download.
Man, I remember even, like, when did Napster, because I think I was in high school when Napster was, like, very popular, and I had AOL 56K, and just trying to download, like, a freaking song or something took me forever.
Took like 2 months.
Much less of video. Like, I couldn't even do a video because, like, it would, like, time out. Like,
I mean, I remember a time when I was into downloading things that I probably shouldn't have been, and I would look at the file and I was like, 50 megabytes.
Yeah,
it's gonna take.
You look at that.
Take all week.
You look at that now, and you're like, 50 megabytes. That's small. And then and God forbid that, like, your dad or something was like, "What's this noise? What's this noise? What's going on?" And somebody,
I need to make a phone call.
You're like,
get off the internet.
Man, that was the worst. You're like, no, because if I get
my picture of Cindy is almost finished.
I know, and like, if you got out of it, sometimes you couldn't restart the download.
No, because sometimes you just got lucky to find a thing that would stick. A number that would stick.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you remember or if it even happened on AOL when the internet connection would get bad. And you would just start seeing all these random characters on your screen.
Yeah.
So,
man,
when you finally found a number that was decent, where the connection was good enough, where you didn't get that, and that's exactly when they needed to use the phone.
Yeah, that's why I always try to do it like overnight. Kind of a thing, but still.
That's probably how I became a night owl, like so many nights.
You just have to do it, like, you gotta wake up in the middle of the night to check if it's still running. Man.
And that happened many times too, you wake up in the middle of the night, make sure everything was okay with your internet connection.
And when it wasn't, like, the internet had somehow disconnected, you're like, no, man.
And now I also think about my first computer that I bought with my money, and it was a 200 megahertz beast. In my opinion, back then, that was a beast of a computer.
How many megahertz is your phone?
My phone has a quad core 1.4 gigahertz.
Just imagine, like, how big your computer was compared to your phone now.
Yes. And
the phone you have now is like way more.
Back then, 200 megahertz, it was awesome, because it allowed me to watch video that was running at 320 by 240, but it's okay because I could see it on my awesome 640 by 480 resolution.
Oh man!
But you know what? It was, and I know I keep saying the same word, but it was amazing back then. You know, the first time that I saw a video on a computer, it was Encyclopedia Britannica at school, and my jaw just dropped. And I think you're right. I think we have lived in a very neat time where, you know, people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they lived probably in a more interesting hardware wise time.
Yeah,
because they were the true pioneers of hardware and making these things. But I think we got a better time because we were able to see computers actually become something more than just machines for special clubs. You know, when I joined the internet, it was just a few million people online.
Yeah.
Now it's billions of people all over the world. You know, to see the way governments have had to change because of the internet. You know, it's amazing to think of everything that has happened in the last 20 years alone. And, you know, for me to sit here now and think, who knows what's going to happen in the next 20 years? And that's going back to my previous point of competition. That's why I don't want to see things slow down. You know, I want to see where we can get to before I pass out. You know?
Yeah. And like an interesting thing is like, I would like to like, it would be an interesting thing to do if like, you can get like a teenager or like somebody who is really engaged in this whole technology, like somebody who likes to text a lot, somebody who likes to go on the internet a lot, and like somehow take them back to 1994 or like 1995.
They would die.
I swear, like just to have them like having to go through the whole dial-up process. It'll be such a fun thing to watch because they'll be like,
I just
what
remember
the hell?
Swear fest.
Oh man!
I just remember my first cell phone. I mean, that thing was huge. It was a brick. Big black Motorola. It was a flip phone, I guess, because you could flip the little the microphone thing. But the screen was just red numbers.
Oh man!
Yeah, that thing was. Hey, I thought I was cool back then.
You just having a cell phone, you're like, yeah, I'm a baller.
It's like, yeah, I don't have a beeper no more, man. I got a cell phone now.
I remember my first phone. It was a Motorola One i85.
i85. Which one was that?
It's the Nextels. Like when the Nextels came out.
Okay, yeah.
The badass phone. Well, Nextel always had I had the fat ass phone.
I had at least the flip phone, and at least I had text messaging.
And I also wanted to just mention. Damn it! What was I gonna mention?
You were gonna come out of the closet or something?
No, it was something.
Oh, not today. Okay.
Fuck. Oh well, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. It was something life changing. It had something to do with sending somebody back in the past and but yeah.
These kids are gonna be spoiled with technology.
Yeah, like you can still get cable. You can still get dial-up modem, right?
Yeah, I believe you can.
If I have kids, I'm just gonna get dial-up.
I think that series probably still around.
I'm gonna get dial-up and just like if I have
what
kids,
other service I remember that probably a lot of people have forgotten about is Juno. Remember Juno?
Oh, Juno. Yeah, I remember
Free
Juno.
email.
I remember Juno.
That was awesome. Everything's awesome for me. Screw it.
Man, I really wanted to mention this thing, but I forgot. Oh, well.
God doesn't want you to say it.
Man, I'm trying to think.
God was like, humanity is not ready.
All right, talk about something, Victorino. That way I can try to remember what I was trying to say.
I have no idea.
All right, well, the only other thing that I wanted to mention, if we have time, was the fact that, hey, BlackBerry's up for sale. Apparently BlackBerry has either given up or about to give up, but it looks like they were hinting that they might be willing to reach some kind of compromise with some company. So they are definitely not doing good. Who knows what's going to happen with them?
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
Yeah, because they took too long when people were still with their crackberries. They just took too long to get into because they kept.
I wonder if anybody even really wants the BlackBerry name anymore. Like do they have anything that anybody wants?
How's the operating system? The one they have for the touchscreen. I mean the smartphone.
I mean, I haven't used it. It doesn't look impressive. And again, they really did take so long. That's what I mean. Like for a very long time, their BlackBerry Messenger was a huge thing.
Yeah.
But they kept it to themselves. And now they are bringing it out to other platforms. But the BlackBerry Messenger has like 30 million users, while something like WhatsApp has about 300 million users. So it's like, they are nothing anymore. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It would be sad to see them die. And this is definitely a company that I used to hate more than Apple at some point.
Yeah,
because
everybody was BlackBerry.
Yeah, I hated the way everybody was like, "Oh, it's gotta have my BlackBerry. It's like it's not that great.
I mean, the keyboard thing was pretty cool, but
people say that. I'm like, I have big fat fingers. I don't think I could ever type on those things.
Yeah, because before, the whole idea of typing on the screen was kind of like.
But it should remind us that even the biggest fall, they used to be huge, and now look at them. So, a couple of years from now, we might be talking about Google being up for sale. Who knows? Apple, you never know.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Microsoft's gonna be there for a while. They got enough money. But,
yeah, I mean, Google has enough money, and so do the others. But anything
as long as they keep innovating, keep being consistent, I think Google is gonna be.
That is the key, though. You have to keep trying. It seems like for years BlackBerry just kind of gave up, and then they decided, okay, now we want to do something. And
yeah.
Back then it was just too late. I mean, you had lost all the market. I mean, like, Android owns like 75% of the market. Apple owns another 15%. There is no room for you.
Yeah, unless they do something crazy. Like, what would be something? Because we're good at giving companies advice. Yeah,
sell.
And every phone you sell, give a bag of weed.
You want something, start making phones with Android in them.
Make them a dual.
Make them with a large amount of
storage. Yeah, there you go.
A good battery. Don't focus so much on go the Motorola way. Don't focus so much on specs. Focus on usability. Focus on what people want, and you'll do good.
Yep, there you go.
There you go. If you fall now, it's your own damn fault, because we told you what to do. You didn't listen.
Yep, and if you do what we say, you'll have a successful company
or something. Anyway, believe it or not, we are out of time, guys.
A word? Oh yeah, we're out of time. Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully this has been a fun conversation.
It was fun.
And if you have any nostalgia of your own, please comment. We would like to hear it. Because there's so many things that
we'll probably talk a little bit more about nostalgia in
because
there's a few things I wanted to mention.
And I'm pretty sure somebody out there knows something that we totally forgot about. And once they mention it, we're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
There's plenty of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Victorino, any last words you want to say on today's awesome podcast?
Did you have to go through 56 AOL dial-up?
No. Well, yeah. I remember Net Zero when it took forever to upload just one YouTube video. I believe it took like
you were uploading YouTube videos on Net Zero?
Yeah, I remember what I wanted to say. I remember. Thanks for saying that. What I wanted to just real quick. I remember I had been using 56K, and all this time, there was already cable internet.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I finally did the switch from 56K to cable internet, my mind was blown. I was like, what? I could actually download all these pictures this quick? What? Oh, man, that was the greatest feeling ever.
My songs?
I could download that Cindy Crawford picture in a second. All right. So that's what I was doing.
Cable for the cable internet?
Well, that's the only thing we had here, so. All right, so... Thanks for watching.
I mean, uploading video, just
to play a video.
Yeah, play videos. Yeah, like 30 minutes. And once you got that, dial up, Time Warner Cable.
We could watch the whole video. Yeah. All
right. Speaking of videos, my video is finally up on anarchylive.com.
Yeah, make sure you check that out. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one this time.
This time it's actually pretty good. No, it's informative about how some of the new services that carriers are offering that would rip you off, really.
Yeah, it is such a rip off.
But that jump commercial is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I do like the jump commercials.
Yeah, the guy's cutting his finger like, oh.
The one I find interesting is the one where the guy is like, hey, I got the 7. The other guy is like, hey, I got the 8. I'm like, okay, this guy was bragging about getting the 7. Like, how long ago did he get the 7 that this guy already has the 8? It's like me coming up to you now and be like, hey, I got the Galaxy S3.
Hey, I got the 4.
All right. That is it for today's podcast. This is Javier or Stuff.
This is Ekis.
This is Vitolino.
Or Ekis.
Ekis or Ekis.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, make sure it's always at GameXPresents, whether it's Twitter, Instagram,
and
Facebook. Just go to GameXPresents. We need more likes.
And for our podcast, there should be...
Yeah, you can have a link. We'll have a link on the YouTube description, so you can go download it directly, so you can listen to it on the way to your work, school, girlfriend's house, museum,
lover's house.
Yeah,
La Chilla.
What?
Nothing.
Going to the airport, or if you get locked up in jail, you can listen to us. I don't know how you would listen to us if you're in jail.
Pressure cookers.
No backpacks.
No backpacks. Pressure cookers. Boom. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, I'm out.
All right, we're out. Peace. Love you.